The Brihad Jabala Upanishad, presented by Swayam Prakash Sharma, Part 1, Introduction and Chapters 1, 2, and 3. In the list of 108 Upanishads to be studied for salvation, as contained in the Muktika Upanishad, the Brihad Jabala Upanishad figures at serial number 26 of that list. The Upanishad belongs to the Atharva Veda, and it is a Shiva Upanishad which deals with the two ways of worshipping Lord Shiva. One by wearing the Vibhuti or holy ash, and the other by wearing the holy beads, Rudraksha. The Upanishad is in the form of a dialogue between the great god Shiva as Kala Agni Rudra, having the powers of the gods of fire and time and death, and his devotee, the Rishi Bhushund. Lord Shiva explains the significance of both Vibhuti and Rudraksha. Vibhuti or bhasm or ash is the primal matter purified by fire from which everything emerges. It is hidden in all material objects. In its fivefold aspects, the sacred ash bestows wealth. It removes all sins. It imparts radiance. It provides protection against dangers, and it shields from diseases and sickness. The methods of preparation of bhasma and how the bhasma is to be applied to different parts of the body are also explained. The Upanishad consists of 8 brahmanas or chapters and is presented in 2 parts. The primary source for preparing this upload is the translation by P R Ramachander, published by celextel.org. The Upanishad. Om, O you devas, with our ears may we hear what is auspicious. O you who are worthy of worship, with our eyes may we see what is auspicious. Always praising God with an able body and strong limbs, may we enjoy the full term of life allotted to us by Him. May the glorious Indra, may the all knowing Sun, may Garud, the destroyer of all evil, may they all bless us. And may Brihaspati grant well being to us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. The sage Bhushund approached the fire and death like Kal Agni Rudra and requested him, Great Lord, please tell me about the greatness of Vibhuti, the sacred ash. To which Kal Agni Rudra replied, Sage Piplad has already told about the wearing of Vibhuti and Rudraksha and the benefits accruing from them. There is nothing more that I can add to that. Bhusund then said, Lord, please tell me about the route to salvation, as told in the great Jabal, in the great Brihad Jabala Upanishad. Kal Agni Rudra agreed and began his teaching. He said, Shiv has 5 faces. From the Sadyajat face of Shiv, the earth was born. From the earth was born Nivritti. From Nivritti was born the golden colored cow called Nanda, and from the dung of Nanda came Vibhuti. Water was produced from the Vamdev face of Shiva. From water was produced the power called Pratishtha. From that came the black cow called Bhadra, and from its dung was produced Bhasit, another name for Vibhuti. From the Aghor face of Shiva, fire was produced, from which was produced the power of knowledge. From that knowledge was produced the red cow, Surabhi, and from its dung was produced Bhasma, meaning ash, yet another name for Vibhuti. From the Tat Purush face of Shiva, wind or air was produced, from which was produced the power of peace. From the power of peace was produced the white cow, Sushila, from whose dung was produced Kshar, another name for ash. From the Ishan face of Shiv, ether or the sky was produced. From ether was produced the power of Sandhya Atit, that is the power of one who is beyond dawn and dusk. From this was produced the multicolored cow called Suman, from whose dung was produced Raksha, literally meaning protective shield. Vibhuti, Bhasit, Bhasma, Kshar and Raksha are the 5 different names of the holy ash. All these are causal names. Vibhuti is so called because it gives rise to plenty of wealth. Bhasit is so called because it makes material shine, it makes material glitter. Bhasm is so called because it eats away all sins. Kshar is so called because it protects from dangers. And Raksha is so called because it acts like a protective shield in case of fear of ghosts, in case of fear of devils, of pisachas, of brahmarakshasas, of epilepsy and other diseases which are congenital and inborn in a person. Then Rishi Bhushund asked Lord Kala Agni Rudra to explain about the Bhasma Snan, the ash bathing procedure, which involves fire and the moon. The Lord replied, just as fire takes several forms, depending on the form of the object it enters, in the same way, ash, which is like the soul of all objects, also assumes the form according to the form of the shape of the being, and it is also beyond that being. It is said that fire becomes the world of fire and moon. Fire is very hot. It is terrible. It is cruel. The power of the moon, on the other hand, is like nectar. But even though it has its basis in nectar, the moon is also the hot aspect of knowledge. Among the big and tiny things, the moon is the only one which is nectar-like in taste and light, and also very hot. This is what the Lord said. Know this, that the shining aspect of strength is of 2 types, the sun aspect and the fire aspect. In the same way, nectar like strength is also full of light and heat. Light dwells in aspects like lightning. Sweetness pervades in tastes of extracts, and the average world works within these 2, light and taste. Nectar is a part of fire. Due to nectar, the fire grows. That is why the world, which is of the form of fire and moon, is like the fire made with offerings in fire, the Havis offerings made in the Havan. The moon power is above, the fire power is down below. It is because of the joining together of both of these powers that the world is continuously functioning. That Shakti, that power which rises above is Shiv. That Shiv which rises above is Shakti. There is nothing in this world which is not affected by Shiv and Shakti. The world, which has been burnt several times by fire, becomes pervaded by ash, by bhasm. This is the strength of the fire. Ash becomes an integral part in that strength. Thus, he who understands the strength of the ash and does the ash bathing rituals using the mantras Agnir iti bhasma, fire is ash, Vayur iti bhasma, air is ash, Jalam iti bhasma, water is ash, Sthalam iti bhasma, earth is ash, Vyom iti bhasma, space is ash. Such a one burns all his sins and attains salvation. For victory over death, the bath of nectar is recommended. Where is the question of death for one who has been touched by the nectar of Shiva and Shakti? The one who knows this secret holy method, he would purify the moon and the fire, and he will not take birth again. The one whose body is burnt by the fire of Shiv and made wet by the nectar of the moon, such a one, on entering the path of yoga, would become eligible for the deathless state. He would become eligible to be freed from the cycle of birth and death. The Lord next narrates the 4 methods of preparing the bhasm, of preparing the ash. First is the anukalp, the second is the upakalp, the third is the Upopakalpa, and the fourth is the Akalpa. Anukalp is made by using Viraja's home mantras in Agnihotra. It is collecting the ash from the pit of fire. Upakalp is collecting dried cow dung lying in the forest and preparing it in the method suggested in the kalp. Upopakalp is collecting the dried cow dung, powdering it, making it into balls after mixing it in cow's urine, and preparing it as per the method suggested in kalp. What one gets in the temples of Lord Shiva is a kalp. This is equal to 100 kalps. All the bhasma prepared by any of these methods leads one to salvation, said Bhagwan Kala Agni Rudra. This concludes the first part containing the introduction and chapters 1, 2 and 3 of the Brihad Jabala Upanishad. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.